Meghan Markle's fall from Hollywood's spotlight didn't happen overnight. The signs were there long before her shine began to fade. When Meghan and Prince Harry first arrived in California, they were celebrated as Hollywood's newest power couple. People talked about fresh opportunities, big collaborations, and the unique excitement of having real royalty in their circles. Invitations poured in, celebrity neighbors opened bottles of champagne, and for a moment, it looked like the Sussexes were set to become Hollywood's next golden pair. But just a few years later, everything had changed. Meghan was no longer seen as a valuable friend or partner. Instead, people began to view her as a problem, someone to stay away from. What caused such a big shift? At the center of it is Meghan's belief that hidden forces are working against her. Reports say she's convinced that Princess Catherine, with the support of the royal family, has been quietly trying to overshadow her. Every time Meghan starts a new project, another huge story seems to appear, like Taylor Swift announcing her engagement or a major movie being revealed. To Meghan, it all feels like sabotage, timed perfectly to steal the attention away from her. But critics say this way of thinking reveals more about Meghan herself than about any real enemies. They claim her mindset is becoming paranoid, unable to accept that sometimes the world just isn't paying attention to her. Taylor Swift didn't plan her engagement around Meghan's schedule. She announced it because she's Taylor Swift. The same goes for other big stars. Yet Meghan keeps seeing these coincidences as personal attacks, convincing herself that powerful people are working to hold her back. Here's the twist. Meghan once used the very same tactics she now says are being used against her. In her early Hollywood days, she worked with Sunshine Sachs, a PR firm known for its tough, aggressive methods. They were experts at shaping stories, planting them in gossip columns, and controlling public opinion. Meghan gladly relied on these strategies when she was trying to rise in Hollywood. But now, as her spotlight fades, she sees unrelated setbacks as proof that the same tricks are being used against her. It's classic projection. Once you know how manipulation works, you start believing you see it everywhere. But people in Hollywood have a much simpler explanation for Meghan's fall. Trust. The Oprah interview, then the Netflix series, and later Prince Harry's tell-all book crossed a line for many in the industry. Celebrities began to wonder, if the Sussexes were willing to share the royal family's deepest secrets for profit, what would stop them from revealing a private conversation with a friend? In Hollywood, reputation means everything. That one doubt was enough to make people back away. PR advisors quietly told their clients not to be seen with Meghan, not to work with her, and not to risk their own image. The party invites stopped coming, brand deals disappeared, and Meghan suddenly found herself on the outside of the very circles she once believed she had secured. Adding to this was Meghan's troubled history with friendships. From British personalities like Lizzie Cundy and Millie McIntosh, to outspoken figures such as Piers Morgan, she built a reputation for cutting people off once they were no longer useful to her. Even her longtime best friend, Jessica Mulroney, reportedly drifted away after Meghan gained her royal title. And in Hollywood, where connections are everything, that kind of pattern raised serious concerns. People began to think, if she's burned bridges before, she'll likely do it again. All of this fed into a harsh perception. Meghan wasn't a true A-lister. Yes, she had some fame from her role in Suits, but beyond that, her resume was thin. Her attempts to launch a lifestyle brand and produce television projects never gained traction. To her critics, she seemed like the typical Hollywood striver, full of ambition and drama, but lacking the real depth or talent needed to stay on top. Instead of facing these realities, Meghan doubled down on her belief in conspiracies. She even began comparing herself to Princess Diana, suggesting that powerful forces were trying to silence her. But to many, that comparison felt offensive. Diana tragically lost her life after years of relentless press harassment. Meghan, on the other hand, chose to step away from royal duties and now lives in luxury in Montecito. The situations couldn't be more different. The bigger concern is how this mindset affects Prince Harry. Friends of the royal family worry that Meghan's constant comparisons to Diana have fueled Harry's own paranoia, keeping him trapped in old pain and resentment. For Prince William, who has worked hard to honor their mother's memory without letting it consume him, watching his brother spiral must feel both painful and frustrating. Meghan's time in Hollywood has become less about success and more about a slow, very public unraveling. Instead of walking red carpets and working with A-listers, she's surrounded by whispers of paranoia and betrayal. Hollywood doesn't need her, and the royal family no longer protects her. And that truth, more than any imagined conspiracy, is what truly troubles Meghan today. The shift became even clearer when Meghan tried to land endorsements for her projects, but was turned down. Dolly Parton, a legend known for saying yes to almost every collaboration, rejected Meghan's invitation to appear on her With Love Meghan project. To Meghan, it felt like another deliberate snub, one she suspected Catherine had a hand in. But those close to Dolly said the reason was far simpler. As a lifelong admirer of the royal family, Dolly likely didn't want to risk upsetting them. The same thing happened with others. Meghan's attempts to connect with the Kardashians led nowhere, ending only with polite but empty social media gestures. And if she couldn't win support from reality TV's most influential family, what chance did she have with Hollywood's more cautious A-list? Meghan's friendships with the Beckhams and the Clooneys also fell apart. Rumors that Victoria Beckham had leaked stories to the press deeply offended the fashion icon, effectively ending their relationship. The Clooneys, who had once shown public support, slowly pulled away as well. In Hollywood, breakups like these don't go unnoticed, and reputations quickly follow. At the same time, Meghan's professional projects began to struggle. Her Spotify podcast, Archetypes, launched with big promotion, but soon fizzled out. Critics said the show lacked originality and that Meghan was often overshadowed by her own guests. Netflix also poured money in her and Harry's stories, but the cultural impact was short-lived. Many felt Meghan wasn't creating strong content. She was simply repeating old complaints. And while controversy might grab attention for a while, it can't carry a career without real creativity or reinvention. In Hollywood, reinvention is key to survival. But instead of changing course, Meghan doubled down on her belief that others were sabotaging her. To many, this looked like pure hypocrisy, especially since she had once embraced those same PR tactics herself. Even more damaging is Meghan's constant comparison to Princess Diana, which many people see as manipulative. The contrast is clear. Diana was relentlessly hunted by paparazzi, while Meghan is simply struggling with fading celebrity status. And audiences notice that difference. Hollywood itself is changing too. Fame today often comes from TikTok stars and YouTubers who rise overnight. Against this new backdrop, Meghan's carefully polished image feels outdated. In a culture that now values authenticity over perfection, her strong ties to the monarchy make her seem distant rather than relatable. Financially, Meghan and Harry are still secure, but cracks are starting to show. Spotify ended its deal with them, Netflix might not renew, and brands are hesitant to partner with people surrounded by controversy. Each rejection only deepens Meghan's belief that hidden forces are working against her, when in reality, it may just be the result of burned bridges and poor choices. The bigger question is whether she can turn things around. Meghan certainly has ambition, but ambition alone isn't enough. What she truly needs is a breakthrough project, something that proves she can win audiences without leaning on royal drama. But that would take humility, patience, and teamwork, qualities her critics say she hasn't shown consistently. For now, Meghan Markle's story is remembered less for her achievements and more for missed chances. The royal wedding, the worldwide fascination, the once-in-a-lifetime chance to blend royalty with Hollywood glamour, all of it feels wasted. Instead of admitting mistakes and adjusting, she continues to cast herself as the victim of unseen enemies. And in a business where image is everything, that storyline may be impossible to escape. Meghan once dreamed of being both a royal and a Hollywood star, but today she finds herself stuck between the two worlds, truly belonging to neither.